This is Hidden Killers Live with Tony Bruschi, Stacey Cole, and Todd Michaels.
Wow, God, yeah, he's right. Totally. That's exactly what this is about. It's having a conversation.
Yeah. It's something we need to get better at. How do we get there when we've been we have a generation that's never seen it.
Tune in here.
Yeah. I mean, I 1000% agree. How do we get there? And I think that it's in everything. Every person needs to think about it and do it.
It's modeling the way, and so to the earlier point, back to the case today, what I saw when I was watching the briefing by the governor today, and when Kash Patel got up in a very controlled manner, which kind of shocked me. I mean, I'm seeing things that kind of blew my mind, right? And because again, they deviated from what I was expecting. What I was expecting was contention. I was expecting some posturing. I was expecting some grimaces behind the scenes. That's what we typically see.
Yeah.
But what I saw was a team come together, modeling the way forward for law enforcement and government organizations to collaborate and work together in a healthy way to move the football of justice down the field extremely rapidly in a case like this. I haven't felt so good about watching justice being continually played out as I've seen in the last 36 hours. I'm not saying it doesn't exist other places, but this is because a lot of people say, well, why the Charlie Kirk case? Well, it's got a very big platform, bigger than I ever even imagined it would have been. But because it has such public attention, everyone was watching that press conference. A lot of people were watching that press conference, law enforcement, citizens, everyone. And what they were doing was modeling the way for what everyone else should be doing to come together to solve life's most complex, horrendous crimes in a healthy, strategic, leadership-based way. So we can start moving through because the faster we move through these things, and remember, again, as a species, we gravitate towards positivity, not negativity. But what happens when the lack of positivity is around us, we're going to revert to anything we can get. Mm-hmm. And so if we can start modeling and have some people out there modeling, hey, no one, like when I was in the Bureau, the FBI now can have it has a connotation, like, what side are you on? Mm-hmm. Dude, when I came in, there was no sides. When I was in the FBI during New York City, there was no sides. Mm-hmm. You were ostracized if you didn't have an American flag on your car in New York City. I mean, I remember the day that my flag got blown off the car on the way home on the Palisades Parkway, and I was freaking out because I couldn't get a flag for my car. My neighbors came to my rescue to give me a flag to put on my car because I knew what I was doing and how I had to get down to the city. Because when you went through the checkpoints down in lower Manhattan, I had to have two things on. I had to have my lights on to show I was law enforcement because, oh my God, I got my goosebumps going. Because all this happened during 9/11 as well. I mean, you're talking about the last couple of 24 hours.
Right.
For me. Yeah. My windows had to be rolled down. The streets on the West Side Highway getting down to the site, but you had people standing on the sides, all ages, kids, mothers, fathers, holding up signs. Please find daddy. Thank you for saving America. I didn't know politics. It was everyone. And as you're getting lined up to get through the checkpoint, the windows are down because volunteers are throwing bottles of water. They're throwing masks. How many people have died from? I'm on the monitoring thing because my lungs from being down at ground zero. Mm-hmm. People are throwing gas masks, oxygen masks, filters through the windows. They're giving. I still have notes from children that made handmade sandwiches. Thanking me for what I'm doing. It was just that is what was effective. That was because we were communicating, we're solving a problem. There was no politics. I never knew anyone's politics until the last 5 years of my career.
Yeah.
That's what
and it didn't matter because
it didn't.
Everyone was human, and that's what mattered.
Safe.
Yeah.
And we've seen on social media, and I hate to bring this up, but people talking about almost lamenting that, not that we want anything bad to happen in this country, but the unity that we felt on 9/11, 2001, that night, and for the days afterwards.
Yeah, for the years after.
Yeah, there was just this camaraderie that we were all in this together. We're going to get through it together. And what can I do to help you? What can I do to help you get through this?
Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
And now, can I drop an F-bomb? We don't give a fuck now about the person next to us. It's just, what can I do to make my life better?
Do we not? Do we not? Or is that what we fear, and then we believe it, and we jump to that absolute that nobody gives a fuck, when actually a lot of people give a fuck.
You're right, Tony.
But we're afraid to express it, and then we feel this emptiness that's not really there. Because I think it's a lot of us are doing that, but I think that's basically it's catastrophizing something to such an extreme, but it feels so real, and then it gets reinforced over time. But I don't think that's the reality with most people.
I hope,
but it certainly is how it feels a lot right now.
And here's what our politicians are doing, both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened during this thing too. Every time one of these horrendous things happen in the last bunch of years, what happens? Everyone's pointing fingers. They're radicalized by the left. They're radicalized by the right. Everyone immediately starts pointing finger as large swaths of people, and they miss the entire point. Yeah. No, the only enemy here was that one friggin' broken brain moron that just killed someone. That is the only person that's an enemy here. They were going to kill someone no matter what. Because they got radicalized, because they're feeling disenfranchised. The social media, all the arcs of a lone shooter, exactly. It doesn't matter what beliefs, it could have been completely flipped on the other side of who he liked or didn't like. It didn't matter. He was going to do what he's going to do. That is the enemy. The enemy was the person that made a choice to kill someone, and their system of broken brain, escalation, red flags flying, all those things. That's what it was. There's no side that was wrong here, because when we keep thinking that, it will never move on from that. Like I said, tribes are fine, but if you're not curious, I mean, think about it. We've had tribes. We've had, George Washington is elected first president of the United States. You know what happened 2 minutes after he's elected? 2 parties formed. Here's the guy that just made our country, and within seconds of him being elected, half the country's like, you're wrong.
And it's been that way ever since.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's okay, but only in recent years did it start getting nutso.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna now I'm gonna throw on my counterintelligence hat here. I know, and they actually were making reference to this. The governor last night was talking about this on the press conference. So what our foreign adversaries do in times like this is use active measures. And so Russia and China and other horrendous countries out there, and I say horrendous, they're not horrendous. The nation state itself that wants to have us dissolve and crumble upon ourselves, like it looks like we're on that, like you said, that Matchbox is, they will see opportunities like this to get their bots going, to fuel the fire.
Yeah.
And so that's exactly what happens in moments like this, and here's why, and how do you know it? Because when we can actually sit down and have a one-on-one dialogue with someone from any political affiliation, so imagine this: you don't know someone's political affiliation, and you sit down and just have a conversation with them about life, liberty, and the pursuit of their own happiness. Can you have a connection with 99% of the people? Yeah, because that's it. So these other things on the media come in there and they grab you and they try to get you inflamed, and what a mess.
Yeah. It's don't believe the hate.
Find the greatness. Everyone's got it. Just find that. There's a hobby for you too. Find the greatest in others. Who doesn't work around people that annoys the living piss out of you? Yeah. I had a mantra inside the bureau when I was working was I never allowed anyone to bother me, because it's easy to have people bother me. People bother me all the time. But if someone bothered me, that was my new hobby. I'm going to find a way that you will no longer bother me. In other words, I will make a connection. I will find that greatness. I will find what we have in common. And I'll tell you what, each and every single times that someone started out in that bothering me, first of all, you got to own it. What did I do to trigger a trauma response in them that made them feel insecure around me, to had them communicate in a way which was kind of ick, right? So I own my own behavior, what I did to possibly cause that. And then, we kind of move on from there, whether it's me, them, whatever. But the next thing I'm doing is, what do we have in common that we can talk about? So we're not talking about the stuff that annoys the living piss out of me coming out of your mouth. See, there's Robin being very real, right? And you know what it always is? Being a parent, being a son, being a daughter, being a human being. Just if you don't like what they do at work, then don't talk about work with them.
Yeah.
Find something else. It is so easy to find that greatness in others. And now here's where you make that connection. When you find that greatness and you'll see their eyes kind of spark up and light up, get a little eyebrow flash there, the nonverbals of high comfort that they like that topic. And then you say, wow, I will double down instead of doubling down on stupid, like I keep talking about, double down on what makes them feel great and let them know by you communicating in terms of that you see it, you see that in them. You're now the person they can't wait to see walk around that corner. Because here's a guarantee. If they're annoying the piss out of you, they're annoying the piss out of everyone, most likely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and if you're that one person that can actually make that touch point, the likelihood of them on that arc of negativity and escalation towards unhealthy crazy that begets a lot of violence, you might have just mitigated that. That's where we can all make a difference. Find the greatness.
Great advice, as always, Robin. And if you've been watching this going, I could use a hell of a lot more of that.
Yes.
He's got books. I got him right here. Sizing people up.
I bought one.
Alliances.
I bought one. I've been starting to read it.
Code of Trust. They're all great. And the audiobooks are great too, because you do the voiceover on them too. And they're phenomenal. You have such great insight, and I cannot tell you how much I appreciate having you on, especially in times like this, to be that voice of reason. As Dan Rather said, steady when things are rough.
Yeah.
So I know I can hear Todd laughing. Steady.
Yes. I get my goosebumps. No emergency takeoff.
Want more on this case and others? Then press subscribe now and don't miss a moment of true crime coverage from Tony Bruschi and the Hidden Killers podcast.